Welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam and I'm outside. I'm spending time with trees. That's right. I'm spending time with trees because I will be better for it. I feel more calm. I feel more connected when I'm outside, but more specifically, when I'm outside with trees. It takes an intentional next step. The next step after being outside, no matter where you are, would be to find the greatest amount of biodiversity, the greatest amount of life, other living things. And trees, for me, this is where the magic happens. This is where the healing is. So by spending time with a tree, it means slowing down and actually making contact. Spend a couple moments touching the tree. By spending time in, more specifically, a coniferous forest, getting access to the volatile chemicals known as phytoncides. It's the phytoncides that provide the healing. Phytoncides are the byproduct on the air. Photosynthesis, there's trace amounts of water. We know that photosynthesis produces oxygen, but with that are trace amounts of other chemicals released. And on that water are the tree's own essential oils. We can smell it, we can feel it. The coniferous trees, the phytoncides are a little heavier, right? Matching the weight, thickness of the pitch that flows within this cambium, within this tree. It's the phytoncides that help the trees communicate. They're communicating messages on the air, on the wind, messages about disease, parasites, infestation. And those messages are of healing. Messages to other trees of their own kind or others, their own family at least. Change the way you taste. Maybe that caterpillar will leave you alone. Prepare your cones. There's a fire, or heat at least. The time of the year might change that as well. There's a season of growth. There is a season of production, of work. And there's a season of hardening off, preparing for a long winter. And even in winter, there are risks. So the trees are communicating those. So, with intention, with a mindfulness and a connection, I'll take time to spend with a tree. In part of my teaching as a certified forest therapy guide, there are many practices that involve making connections to self, making connection to other elements, the earth, which might include stones or sand or duff, making connections with water. And part of a tea ceremony, I might invite, if the conditions allow, for fire. But it's on the air that we provide exposure to phytoncides by intentionally choosing a walk in a coniferous forest. So we know that every spring we tap maple trees. Put a 1/4-inch hole, 4 inches deep, and we draw out the sap. To get the best results, we want to put that tap facing south. Even in February or March, as soon as the wells in the snow start to appear around the base of the tree, we know that there's a possibility for action. But the greatest action is on the south side, where the tree can feel the warmth. Over a major root, under the first major lead branch for the best results, highest yield. But it's the warmth of that early spring sun. That's where the greatest action flow is. The tree can feel it. That's where movement. So it's not a stretch of the imagination if the tree is sensitive to heat, that the warmth of my hand, although limited, short-lived, potential is there for the tree feeling this heat, feels it. What it does with that, I don't understand the language, I don't hear it, but it doesn't mean it's not there. So the tree can feel the heat of the sun, therefore it can feel the heat of my hand, and with that comes my own pulse, my own energy. And I know that there's action, there's movement, So the connection is there. And as I go through the forest, I'll find different specimens. From hemlock, to birch, to maple, to black cherry, to beech, and again, participating in mindfulness, breathing, mindful listening, despite the squirrels and the dog. It's a different kind of energy. But I'm drawn to, maybe it's an individual species. Maybe it's an individual among the trees in the forest that draws my attention. For me, I do have my favorites, right? Any given path will be trees that I'm drawn to, or individuals, specimens. Maybe it's their size, maybe it's their species, but for me, I like being close to water. So for me, the trees that draw my attention, the cedar trees, eastern white cedar. If I can find a forest and a path along water to give me access to cedars, the aroma is a little different. When the sun finds that forest floor, the smell of cedars for me, most pleasant. But pines and spruce, balsam fir, hemlock, they'll do the same. But it's the cedar tree, its unique bark. And in some communities, it's referred to as the mother tree, the healer. From its roots, to its wood, to its bark, to its pith, to its fronds or leaves. Although an arborist might refer to the leaves as its scales, cedar trees are more related to ferns than other trees. It's an ancient species. They all have healing properties. The wood is antibacterial, antifungal, resistant to mold and mildew, to rot. My favorite tea. If I'm going to make a forest tea, I'll make an effort to harvest cedar. High in vitamin C. Pleasant to work with as a wood. Pleasant color, pleasant smell. The bark would have been used for making vessels, containers, baskets. Roots would have been woven, used as cordage or making other larger vessels. So many unique abilities in trees, aside from their oxygen. Providing shade, controlling temperature, blocking sound, and wind damage. Providing habitat, food. We are who we are as animals on this planet because of our big, beautiful brains. And these, our thumbs, are opposable digits, allowing us to work with simple tools. That became possible after standing upright. Don't take it for granted. So many different unique biomes and naturescapes that have their benefits for making connection outside of a forest, wetlands, tundras, taigas, oceans and lakes and rivers and streams. A lot of them exist outside of a forest environment. But for me, the greatest healing, the greatest amount of biodiversity, opportunity for growth and change and healing exists where I can find trees. I'm making connections with myself and with other living things. It takes but a moment of intentionality, but it helps, calms, soothes, gives me scope and scale. And I know that after 20 minutes, the phytoncides that I'm exposed to connect with my own immune system. That's what they do to each other. It's what they're doing for me. When they connect with my own immune system, specifically traced to the interactions with my body's own natural killer cells. Those cells are going to be targeting and healing the cells that are different. Tumor cells, cancerous cells. So many other aspects to healing. But nature can be accessible. It's a major consideration in urban planning and even in structures. The more trees you have in your neighborhood, in your immediate environment, the healthier you are. Despite the ability to make physical contact, seeing them helps the human brain. Having access to them does change the quality of air, changes the quality of life. They're better. And the more you have of them, the better it gets. And the more different trees you have access to visually, promotes a feeling of wealth and health. Our brain just knows that in a forest, there's abundance, therefore life must be good. Life must be healthy, a little less risk. So, all of those things help calm. And if I can do that first thing in the morning, it better prepare me for the rest of my day. If I do it later on in the evening, it makes everything that happens to me throughout the day feel that much better. It centers me. Gives me purpose, scope, and scale. It helps. So, if you're going to spend some time outside, slow down, spend a little more time with trees. Share your warmth, share your breath, share your ears, share your nose. Taste the air on your tongue as you breathe. Don't forget to touch in a positive way. It's all good medicine. Trees are where it's at. So, if you're going to be outside, find a forest. Once you're in the forest, find a tree. Spend some time with it. Visit it again and again. It helps. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time, your energy, your support. I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.